I have a problem. My problem is with conservative politicians. I know that's shocking to hear, especially from me, but it's true. My problem is with how scared they are to say what they really think, and their flat out refusal to learn that it's not just okay, but it's actually a winning strategy, as we've seen from the election in the United States, to just bypass normal politically correct conventions and say, yeah, well, screw you. I renounce nothing. Our rebel Rally for Alberta happened over the weekend, where we had literally thousands of Albertans join us on the steps of the legislature to protest the carbon tax. And incidentally, there was a chant from the crowd about Rachel Notley. They were chanting, "Lock her up." Just listen. Lock her up! Lock her up! Vote her out! Now, it was a tongue-in-cheek chant. No one really thinks the sheriffs are going to come and arrest Rachel Notley. That's just crazy. But instead of telling the hand-wringers in the media to go to hell when they came around looking for heads to claim, instead of telling the media to just write it all off as the frustration of thousands of Albertans in a time of desperate economic crisis, the Conservatives of every stripe turtled. Conservative leadership candidate Deepak Oberoi said it was Trump-style politics invading Canada and called on the organizers, I guess it means me, to distance themselves from hate-mongering and insults. Conservative interim leader Rona Ambrose said the chanters were acting like idiots.
People acting like idiots. It's not only unoriginal, it's completely inappropriate.
Ambrose's riding encompasses part of Parkland County that will be drastically affected by the NDP's coal phase-out, but she called the desperate people worried about their futures idiots. PC leadership candidate Jason Kenney called the chants ridiculous and offensive. As though anybody really even meant lock her up. Does nobody have a sense of humor anymore? And offensive is the language of outrage. It's the language of the left. And Wildrose leader Brian Jean, while being the least bothersome to me of the Conservatives who got on this politically correct crazy train, did say that he denounces the activities that took place at this particular rally in relation to the chant. Now, at least he didn't throw the whole event in the garbage or start calling people names like Rona Ambrose. Now, to be honest with you, at first, as all these denunciations started rolling in, I wrote it all off as Conservatives having to play the game of politics. But as the afternoon grew on, I got madder and madder and realized that this is the whole problem, and I was in fact making excuses for them. Conservatives don't have to play this game, and we shouldn't do it anymore. I mean, Jason Kenney, Rona Ambrose, and Deepak Oberoi, well, they weren't even there, so why are they even weighing in? And who are they trying to please here anyways? And Deepak Oberoi, who's polling at 0% in the leadership race, is just trying to raise his non-existent profile in the media by calling unemployed oil and gas workers hate mongers. Like, just go away. Literally, no one cares about Deepak Oberoi. And Brian Jean had left before the chants even started. So what does he have to denounce? Did he forget all the cheers and support all those people he now renounces gave him as he gave his speech at that rally? How's this for a response? The Conservatives could have said this: we disagree with the chance of lock her up, but we will not impugn these people's reputation or dismiss their very real anger at the situation in Alberta. End of comment. It would have been done. These Conservatives should have attacked the moral high horse the NDP think they're riding around on, and the media for not reporting on it. Instead, they ran for cover. Conservatives, by folding like cheap shirts and turning on their own supporters, are telling the NDP and their NDP enablers in the mainstream media that their fake outrage actually works. And you know what else? The mainstream media and the NDP will do it again and again, over and over again, over something less significant and less important than a 20-second chant by angry and desperate people, a crowd of unemployed oilmen and farmers in Edmonton. These cry bullies are like stray cats or seagulls that come into your yard. You have to quit feeding them. They'll eventually go away. And in this case, the Conservative politicians keep feeding the NDP and their enablers their very own supporters. The only people this pleases is the left. You lose Conservative support, and the left, well, they claim another victory. The media hates Conservatives. No matter how many other Conservatives these Conservative politicians throw under the bus, the media will still hate them. We know that. So what on earth is the point of this all? Why try to make them happy? Why renounce the people who like you to try to please the people who will always hate you? And it enrages me that these same politicians will come around and panhandle for for votes and donations and volunteers every 3.5 years from the same people they tried to distance themselves from in the media. Those people on the steps of the legislature, they needed a champion. Instead, they got a backstabbing from the very people they thought would fight for them. Shame on the lot of these politicians. Shame on the lot of them for falling for this trap set by the NDP. Shame on the lot of them for making the rally about politicians and a harmless chant rather than the reason 3,000 Albertans gathered together on the steps of the legislature. They were there to save some jobs, save their own jobs, and stop the largest tax hike in Alberta history. And now, none of that matters thanks to the cowardly actions of these politicians. They threw a lot of goodwill in the garbage. People can complain and fearmonger about Trumpism all they want, but Trump knows how to not treat unemployed working class voters like trash. Conservatives in Canada might want to try it sometime if they ever want to win again. And for the record, let me say it. Screw you mainstream media, screw you NDP, screw you hand-wringers. I renounce nothing. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. Have you seen our big plan? We want to be bigger than the CBC. We want to be able to give a louder voice to the people the CBC looks down their nose at. Go to thebigplan.ca and see how you can help.